In California, a U.S. appeals court has ruled U.S. President Donald Trump can maintain control of the National Guard troops in L.A. for now. The court has temporarily blocked an earlier ruling that said Trump's mobilization of the National Guard was illegal. The protests against the Trump administration and the ICE raids are expected to continue this weekend. All week, we've had live coverage from Steve Futterman. He's once again live with us in downtown Los Angeles. Very specific location for you, Steve, just in front of the detention center. Tell us where you are. We see a National Guardsman right behind you, so this is the perfect backdrop for what you're going to report on and this judge's decision.
That's right, Heather. This is the Metropolitan Detention Center. It's also part of a federal complex here, but this is where detainees are at least initially taken when they are picked up by ICE agents. As you mentioned, the order to withdraw and give the control back to Governor Newsom is on hold right now. A judge yesterday in San Francisco ruled that Donald Trump did not have the right to take over control, to federalize the National Guard here in California. He said that Trump's claim that there was a rebellion, he said the protests in L.A. fall far short of a rebellion. He said Trump exceeded his power. But as I think most of us expected, an appeals court put a stay on this. It is going to allow this hearing to be heard by a larger court. The Trump attorneys immediately appealed to the circuit court, and then a couple hours later, it was put on hold. So for the moment, the National Guard troops here still under the control of President Trump. They are still federalized, so they are still here for the moment. We expect that hearing by the appeals court to take place next week. Very interesting, Heather. It will be a 3-judge panel. 2 of the judges on that panel were appointed by Donald Trump. The 3rd judge appointed by Joe Biden. So the National Guard remains here for the moment. You can see some of the convoys behind me right now, and we'll see what happens. But next week is the big hearing in this particular case. Newsom saying that Trump had no right to take over control, to federalize these National Guard troops, and the district court agreeing, but now the circuit court will hear the case.
Today is a big day for the Constitution of the United States, for our democracy, and I hope it's the beginning of a new day in this country where we push back against overreach. We push back against these authoritarian tendencies of a president that has pushed the boundaries, pushed the limit, but no longer can push this state around.
And Newsom says he is hopeful that the appeals court will uphold that district judge's ruling that Trump exceeded his authority by taking over the National Guard, federalizing the National Guard.
So, Steve, as we speak, it's 6:35 where you are. That means the curfew for the night has just lifted, 6 a.m. Pacific time, 9 for us Eastern time. How did last night unfold? And also, if you could look ahead to what you're expecting for this weekend.
Heather, it was very peaceful last night. In fact, there were no major protests in the afternoon. I don't even think the police, LAPD, had to ask for dispersal orders yesterday. It was very, very quiet. We don't have the arrest numbers yet, but I would say it was very, very low. So I think the curfew has done what it was intended to do. It has lowered the temperature. No one's allowed on the streets in this area after 8 o'clock, but there were really not even any confrontations last night as 8 p.m. hit like we had the previous 2 nights. Now, as you mentioned, there are nationwide protests yesterday. Tomorrow, there will be nationwide protests tomorrow. Los Angeles, definitely a part of it. There will be a major rally in front of City Hall at 9 a.m., and there'll be smaller rallies throughout the LA area. And obviously, with what's taken place here the last week, with these raids, with these detainments and everything of people here in the country, unauthorized immigrants, I think you're going to have a very large turnout. Police will be in force. I should point out, Heather, one more thing before we send it back to you. The presence of the police here in Los Angeles today, much less than we've seen the last week. They have definitely lowered their visible presence. They're still here, but many of the roadblocks we've had the last couple of days are gone today. I'm sure many of them will be back tomorrow as we expect these very large protests to take place here in LA and around the country.
Steve, thank you for this week, and you'll be reporting through the weekend. Appreciate that as well. Steve Futterman, live in Los Angeles.